Chapter 359. What are our names? Su Yiyen finally woke up from the trance of getting rich overnight and asked, who came up with it? Hua Qinhuan's expression was a little subtle. He turned his face and said, Xiaoyang's suggestion. Su Yiyen glanced at him suspiciously. She felt that this matter was not so simple. Moreover, even if it was really Gu Xiaoyang's suggestion, how could the final name of the game be decided so hastily without the approval of the boss? Thinking of this, Su Yiyen couldn't help but have a little more sweetness and banter in her eyes. Hua Qinhuan's ears were burning red. Are you interested in this game? Su Yiyen nodded. Quite interested. When the game is tested, I'll ask them to send 2 over for you to play. 2? Do you want to play with me? Hua Qinhuan was silent. Su Yiyen rolled her eyes and smiled slightly. If you play with me, I'll play. Otherwise, it's boring to play alone. Hua Qinhuan stared at Su Yiyen for a while and compromised. Okay. Su Yiyen smiled like a flower. Then, she seemed to think of something and asked curiously, you just said that the 3 of them are responsible for different projects. Xiaoyang and Xian have already said that. What about Yanbai? What is he responsible for? He's responsible for robots. Su Yiyen's eyes lit up. Robots? Are they those intelligent robots? What are their main functions? Can they play with children and do housework? Yes, bionic robots. They can basically do everything that humans can do. Some things that humans can't do, they can also do. Yanbai's main direction of development is protective robots. Protective robots. Yes, robots that can protect their owners. Su Yiyen was stunned. She subconsciously glanced at Hua Qinhuan. This robot that could protect its owner, could the original intention of the design be related to him? Hua Qinhuan didn't notice her strangeness and explained, this function is still under development. It's not mature yet. Yanbai has a few of the robots with basic functions you just mentioned. If you're interested, you can ask him to send 1 over to play. Su Yiyen's eyes lit up slightly, but she was somewhat worried. That's not good, is it? Although it was a semi-finished robot, it was a trade secret. Was it really okay to take it home to play? As if seeing Su Yiyen's in her mind, Hua Qinhuan touched her head and comforted her. It's okay. This kind of technology is very basic. Yanbai and the habit of locking the core technology during their research. If someone outside of the research lab's people trying to decipher or dismantle it violently, the internal chip self-destructing it. Su Yiyen was a little surprised and curious. She looked at Hua Qinhuan like a puppy asking its owner for a bone. Hua Qinhuan couldn't resist her attack and said helplessly, I'll ask him to send the robot over tomorrow. Su Yiyen cheered. She felt that she was really the happiest person in the world. Not only was her husband rich, but he was also capable. Not only could he afford to raise her, but he could also let her try out all kinds of novel toys. These were all rare things that couldn't be bought with money. Most importantly, as a big boss with high-tech technology in his hands, her husband was completely different from those programmers. He wasn't bald. The programmers who were bald for their careers. Chapter 360. Su Yiyen was excited all the way, but she only calmed down a little when she returned to the old house. She glanced at Hua Qinhuan's thick hair and felt that she needed to take precautions. Hua Qinhuan. Therefore, the bald fans in the live broadcast room who had been observing for a long time finally saw the light. I went out with my husband today, so I came back a little late. Without further ado, let's talk about the medicinal cuisine we're going to make tonight. The medicinal cuisine we're going to make today is mainly for hair growth and hair loss prevention. We did this once before during the live broadcast. However, we only made one dish, showu liver slice. Many comments in the live broadcast room said that although it was effective, it was inevitably a little monotonous after eating too much. Moreover, different conditions lead to hair loss, so eating only showu liver slice is not necessarily the right way to treat the hair loss. Su Yiyen paused and coughed lightly. It just so happens that my husband has been staying up late recently to earn money to support the family. I'm also a little worried about his hairline. Therefore, today we're going to make a special live broadcast of hair growth and hair loss prevention. It's convenient for me, and it's also satisfying the wishes of the bald fans who stay up late. It's killing two birds with one stone. Hui Chenhuan, who had just entered the live broadcast room when she found that her hairline had been mentioned, nearly one-third of the bald fans in the live broadcast room, rows of ellipses quickly brushed across the screen, showing how speechless everyone was. A few seconds later, someone finally broke the awkward silence and started to cry and wail. Oh my God, when I heard that the host was going to start broadcasting, I rushed over as fast as I could, afraid that I would miss the beginning. Who would have thought that I would be forced to eat dog food in front of me? The host successfully suppressed my emotions. I seriously suspect that the last reason is the main point, and us poor single farmers are just incidental. Okay, if it's not incidental, then is it specially made for you? Wake up, the host's exceptions are only made for her husband. Damn it, I also want a virtuous wife. Single dogs are crying tears of jealousy. Seeing that the host is going to broadcast hair growth and hair loss prevention medicinal cuisine, the bald fans burst into tears on the spot, thinking that spring has arrived for the bald fans. But when I read the second half of the sentence, I forced my tears back. Alright, after all this time, it's not the balding gang's spring, but the streamer's spring. Is the host's husband also a programmer? I can't afford to offend the baldies who work late into the night every day, sob sob sob. The host's husband is working hard to earn money to support the family. The host is working hard to live stream to support her husband. I'm jealous. It's another day of crying for someone else's love. Su Yiyen did not pay attention to the wailing of the actors. First, he took out medicinal herbs such as Gastrodia alata, Poria cocos, and Chuanqiong, and soaked them in water. Then, he cracked the bones of the lamb, dipped the mutton in water, and fished it out for later use. There are two types of hair loss. One is that the hair is dry and falls off in patches. The other is that the hair is oily and the hair follicles fall off. In addition, there are also some early white hair phenomena, which is commonly known as young white hair. In fact, it is also related to the lack of nutrition in the hair. The first medicinal cuisine we're going to make today is black chicken soup with Chinese yam and cooked ground. It mainly uses Chinese yam, cooked ground, plantain seed, poria, and other medicinal herbs, as well as black chicken legs. This soup has the effect of curing hair loss, nourishing the kidney and nourishing the blood. It also has a very significant effect on the first condition mentioned just now. Chapter 361. As Su Yiyen spoke, she dipped the black chicken leg in water and put it into the casserole pot. Then, she added a pile of medicinal herbs and boiled them with water before lowering the heat to a simmer. Taking advantage of this gap, she grabbed a prepared carp. After cutting it a few times, she stuffed the previously soaked fulling and chuanqiong into the belly of the fish. The fish I'm making now is called Gastrodia alata carp. The medicinal herb Gastrodia alata needs to be soaked for a few hours in advance to completely soften it. After that, it needs to be steamed before it can be used. Otherwise, there is no way to integrate the medicinal properties into the fish. As Su Yiyen spoke, she put the Gastrodia alata on the drawer to steam. Today, she opened the live broadcast book on a whim. She didn't have time to gather the ingredients immediately. Fortunately, the medicinal herbs planted on the farm could be in a dry or wet state before harvesting. When she took out the Gastrodia alata, it was already in a wet state, which saved her a lot of trouble. After the gastrodia alata was cooked, Su Yiyan stuffed it into the knife and the belly of the fish. Then, she steamed it with scallions and ginger on the drawer. The third dish is lamb bone porridge. The cooking method is relatively simple. I've just dipped the lamb and lamb bones in water. Just cut them and put them in. The main point is this medicine bag. Su Yiyan took out a small medicine bag and put it in front of the camera so that the audience could see it. This medicine bag contains cooked ground, Chinese yam, dodder, walnut kernel, and more than a dozen other medicinal herbs. The ingredients are relatively complex. The dosage is also prepared in advance. Considering that everyone might not be familiar with these things, and that it would be troublesome to make them yourself, I will ask the people in the restaurant to help me make them and pack them up. If you want to bring them back, you can buy them from the restaurant when the time comes. In addition, after today's live broadcast, I will draw a few lucky audience members to give it away. When the audience in the live broadcast room heard that there were more than a dozen medicinal herbs in the small bag, many of them who were not in the same city as Su Yiyan, who originally wanted to steal it and get someone to buy it back to try it for themselves, could not help but want to retreat. Then, they heard that Su Yiyan would make these small bags and sell them directly. She would also draw a lottery to give them away. In an instant, they became spirited again. "Host, please take care of me. I pray that you will draw me. Immortal host, as long as I buy this small bag, I could try to cook porridge myself. I'll buy it tomorrow. I hope it's not too expensive. The price of the streamer's shop is very reasonable. What you should be worried about is not the price, but whether there will be too many people fighting for it tomorrow." When Su Yiyan saw their messages, he smiled and threw the medicine packets into the pot to boil the soup. He smiled and said, "Don't worry about the price. It's still the same as before. We'll strive to make it affordable for most people." Su Yiyan could not guarantee that everyone could afford it, but it was still possible for most people to try it once in a while. The essence of the lamb bones needed to be stewed for a period of time before it could flow into the soup. Su Yiyan took advantage of this time to boil an egg with the Chinese knotweed. Then, she made a dessert, sesame kelp cake. The white sesame seed contains many nutrients that the human body needs. It can prevent our hair from turning white and falling off prematurely. Su Yiyan put the clean and dry white sesame seeds into the pot and stir-fried them until they were fragrant. Then, she ground them into powder and added them together with the kelp powder into the starch to make a dough and steamed it in the pot. At this time, the lamb bone soup was almost done. She fished out the small bag of medicine and added the washed rice into the pot. Then, she stir-fried a large spoonful of seasoning oil and poured it over the steamed carp. Chapter 362. With a click, the originally light and thin carp seemed to be infused with a soul in an instant. A faint white smoke wrapped in a domineering smell swept through the entire kitchen and the live broadcast room, shocking everyone. After the familiar few seconds of silence, a series of rumors emerged one after another, densely packed and stacked on top of each other. If not, they would almost cover Su Yiyan's face. "This fish is amazing. I'm crying while eating. This fish is so delicious. It's fragrant and tender. Every time I watch the host cook fish, I have an inexplicable feeling of being in a trance. It's obviously the same fish and the same cooking method. Why is it that the fish I cook is not as delicious as the host's? What I lack is this fish and these hands. What I lack is the host. I really didn't expect a fish to be cooked in so many different ways. The previous braised fish was more fresh and fragrant, but this one is different. The outside is charred and crispy, but the inside is very sweet, fresh, and tender. It also has a sweet taste. It should be because of the gastrodia alata. All in all, it's not fishy at all. It's not greasy at all. I worship the boss above. He completely described the essence of this dish. After eating for a long time, I can only squeeze out 2 words, delicious. Su Yiyan took the fish to the side and stirred the porridge. The essence of the lamb bones had been completely integrated into the soup and seeped into the rice through the soup. It smelled quite tempting and made people want to eat it. In addition, the black chicken soup with cooked yam was almost ready. Su Yiyan scooped some out and put it next to the fish, preparing to take it out together later. After the fish, soup, and porridge were all out of the pot, Su Yiyan fished out the eggs that were almost cooked from the soup. At this time, the sesame seaweed cake was almost ready. The dough that had swelled due to the heat became transparent and soft, like a piece of jelly, crystal clear. Su Yiyan quickly carved a few pink flowers with radishes and put them on the edge of the snow-white plate, matching a few small square pieces of sesame seaweed cake in the center. It didn't look like a plate of dessert, but more like a work of art. Many people were reluctant to eat it. Many girls took a liking to this pastry at first glance. They rubbed their small hands and secretly prayed that they would be chosen. After finishing all the dishes in one go, Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief. She picked up a white towel and wiped her hands, saying, "The dishes are all done. As usual, I can't send the fish. As for the other dishes, I'll pick a lucky audience member to send them. Those who didn't get selected, don't be sad. The dishes in today's live broadcast will be available in the restaurant one after another. Those who like them can make a reservation in advance." Su Yiyan's words did not comfort those suffering bald men. Not to mention that there were always some of them who were not in a city. Just the number of guests that the restaurant received every day was already enough to make a bunch of people die. However, no matter how much they complained, Su Yiyan couldn't do anything about it. This was already the limit of the carnival hall. Any more and everyone would be overworked, and the loss would outweigh the gain. After that, Su Yiyan briefly introduced the corresponding hair loss symptoms of several dishes. She divided some of the dishes into a lucky draw and gave them away. Then, she left the small kitchen and ran to call Hua Chenwan to eat. Hua Chenwan turned her wheelchair out of the room. Seeing the table full of delicious dishes, she should have had a big appetite. But when she thought that the dishes on the table were all for her hairline, Hua Chenwan couldn't help but twitch the corners of her eyes and feel complicated. Chapter 363. Hua Jinyao, who felt that his hairline was still very solid, finished the meal with a subtle expression on his face. Little did he know that this meal, which he was extremely resistant to, was a supreme honor in the eyes of some people. He didn't know how lucky he was. That night, Hua Chenwan called Zhuo Yanbai first and asked him to send a small robot to her house early the next morning. It didn't have many functions, as long as it could help relieve boredom. Zhuo Yanbai was not stupid. He immediately guessed that this robot was for young mistress. While he agreed, he said thoughtfully, "Young master, many people in the company watched young mistress's live stream today." Hua Chenwan's face darkened. He recalled that Su Yiyan had explicitly said that she was worried about his hairline in the live stream. Now, he was afraid that everyone in his company would think that his hairline was in danger. Zhuo Yanbai had no idea that his young master's focus was a little off. He didn't understand his young master's hint at all. When he saw that Hua Jinyao didn't say anything, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and continue. After watching the live stream, many people in the company hope that young mistress can save their poor hair. Hua Chenwan narrowed her eyes. If they want to eat it, they can order it from a medicinal cuisine restaurant. The corners of Zhuo Yanbai's eyes twitched slightly. I told them the same thing, but they said that young mistress's medicinal cuisine restaurant is already half a year away. If they really wait until then, I'm afraid that nearly half of the people in the company will have become bald. Although this sounded a little funny, it wasn't impossible. In order to research and develop the protective robot, they would probably have to continue working overtime for the next 6 months or even a year. Although this kind of research and development paid high salaries and gave a high sense of accomplishment, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that these achievements were exchanged for their thin hair and receding hairlines. If they had a choice, who would want to be bald? Who would want to be bald? Hua Qinhuan followed Cui Yanbai's words and tried to imagine a scene where nearly half of the people in the company were light bulbs. Seeing that Hua Qinhuan was silent again, Cui Yanbai was a little distressed. I heard that the employees in Young Mistress's restaurant have the benefit of tasting the medicinal cuisine for free. Because of this, many people in the company have already thought of quitting and applying for a job at Young Mistress's restaurant. Hua Jinyao was speechless. You're a high-tech intellectual who's coding, why are you applying for a job at my wife's restaurant? Do errands, Young Mistresses, Cui Yanbai, Young Mistress, Cui Yanbai's words. Following Yu Xian's example of praising Su Yiyan, Cui Yanbai said, Young Master and Young Mistress are a family. Husband and wife are one. Now that all of our companies are under Young Mistress's name, they can be considered as Young Mistress's companies. Hua Qinhuan was speechless. Although he had planned to give his companies to Su Yiyan as a betrothal gift, he never thought that these outstanding backbones that he had painstakingly cultivated would be seduced away by his wife's meal. Should he be angry? Or should he be happy? Cui Yanbai was used to losing face. He coughed lightly and said even more shamelessly, ahem. Well, we don't ask for the same benefits as the employees in Young Mistress's restaurant. We just hope that Young Mistress can give our employees a back door so that they can cut in line for Young Master's sake. Hua Qinhuan was speechless. Chapter 364. Cui Yanbai sounded so pitiful that he almost shouted at Hua Qinhuan, "Save the child." Hua Qinhuan hung up the phone with a cold face, but she still took his words to heart. Su Yiyan received a call from Xia Junqing shortly after dinner. He told her about Luo Weibing. Ning Qiruei has already talked to Luo Weibing. He asked him to bring his sister's test report to the Ning family tomorrow afternoon. You can go and have a look. Both Ning Qiruei and Luo Weibing were public figures, and they were popular topics. If they were photographed by some media when they met outside, it would cause another uproar. For this reason, Xia Junqing discussed with Ning Qiruei's agent and decided to meet at Ning Qiruei's house. The Ning family was located in a high-end villa area with strict security. No matter how good the paparazzi were, they could not easily sneak in. Yes, is there any problem with the Ning family? You don't have to worry about this. They were very happy when they heard that you were coming. They said that they wanted to see you for a long time. Su Yiyan nodded and muttered, well, can I bring my family? Xia Junqing's eyebrows twitched. He felt that this topic was not very friendly to a single person like him. It should be, okay. Su Yiyan heard Xia Junqing's uncertainty and did not embarrass him. She chuckled and said, forget it, I'll ask them myself. Su Yiyan asked Xia Junqing for Ning Qiruei's contact information and called him directly. Ning Qiruei's health had improved a lot during this time, and his family did not restrict his contact with the outside world. When he received a call from Su Yiyan, Ning Qiruei was still a little surprised. He thought that she had something to tell him about the meeting with Luo Weibing tomorrow afternoon. As a result, you come to my house to see someone and bring your family. Why, can't I? Ning Qiruei's mouth twitched slightly, and he could not help but say, are you conjoined twins? You have to take me with you wherever you go. Su Yiyan said shyly and confidently, oh, we are newlyweds. Naturally, we don't want to be separated for a moment. You're still young, so it's normal that you don't understand. Ning Qiruei. What did she mean by, I'm still young, so it's normal that I don't understand? Is she mocking me for being young and not having been in a relationship before? But screw you. you're the one who's young. Your whole family is young. I'm not young. So, do you agree or not? I'm just bringing a family member. It's not like I'm staying at your place for dinner. Do you have to be so stingy? Ning Chiroe almost exploded in anger. What did she mean by not leaving food at my house? Was that what he cared about? However, when he thought about how much food he had eaten during this period of time, Ning Chiroe suddenly became weak. In the end, he snorted coldly, "If you want to come, then come. Is there anyone stopping you? But be careful, please don't do anything inappropriate in public." "Alright, if there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I'm a patient and need to rest early." After Ning Chiroe finished speaking, he did not wait for Su Yiyen's reaction and ended the call. Su Yiyen was stunned for a while before she reacted. "What do you mean by, please don't do anything inappropriate in public? When did Chenhuan and I?" Su Yiyen was both angry and amused, but in the end, she could not do anything to him. She could only secretly think that she would go over tomorrow and give him 2 more injections. Ning Chiroe, who had no idea that his cheap mouth had caused another disaster for himself, suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He had a faint premonition that there seemed to be a wicked person who wanted to harm him. Chapter 365. After dealing with Ning Chiroe, Su Yiyen got up and looked around. She frowned slightly as if she had sensed something. She felt that she seemed to have forgotten something. Su Yiyen walked around the house a few times but could not remember what she had forgotten. She had no choice but to give up. Forget it, she would think about it later. At that time, a certain child, who had unfortunately been forgotten by the 2 adults in the Su family, looked at the dark night outside the window with a sad face. "Little Dun Dun, don't be afraid. Yen Yen doesn't want you anymore, but I'm still your uncle. Come, I'll take you to take a bath. We can go to bed after you're done bathing." Su Yuxuan squatted in front of Dun Dun and revealed the legendary weird uncle smile. Dun Dun's dull eyes finally reacted after hearing the word bath. It kicked forward with its short legs and kicked Su Yuxuan's handsome face with a force that did not match its small body. Then, while Su Yuxuan was still in a daze, it ran away with its short legs. Su Yuxuan was stunned for a few seconds before he reacted. He hurriedly got up to catch Dun Dun. "Hey, don't run, come back. Woof woof woof, woof woof woof." It would be stupid if it did not run at this time. It was not stupid. Just like that, one ran and the other chased. The Su family was still in chaos and lively in the middle of the night. The next morning, Zui Yanbai personally sent the little robot to the door. When he saw Hua Chenhuan, his eyes were full of pleading and longing. Hua Chenhuan was speechless. Su Yiyen did not know about the little episode between the 2. As soon as he learned that Zui Yanbai had sent the little robot over, he immediately ran down from upstairs and said excitedly, "Is this a smart little robot? Let me see." Zui Yanbai quickly moved aside, allowing Su Yiyen to clearly see the little robot's true appearance. It was a little robot about 1 meter tall, and every part of its body looked round. Its head was round, its hands were round, its feet were round, and even its small body was round. It looked like an enlarged version of a glutinous rice bowl. Su Yiyen's eyes lit up. She immediately fell in love with this cute little guy. Does it have a name? No, the robots that haven't been sold yet don't have names, only numbers. It's convenient for customers to name the robots themselves after buying them. The serial number of this robot is 001. 001. Su Yiyen was startled and immediately thought of a certain system. System, look at her. She's so cute. Unlike you, who often can't even squeeze out a word after poking for a long time. Su Yiyen was just routinely teasing the system, and he did not expect it to respond. Unexpectedly, the next second, he heard a familiar mechanical voice. "Host, please do not compare the system with such a low-level robot." It was clearly a rigid statement, but Su Yiyen could hear a trace of disdain and annoyance in it. This was the first time Su Yiyen felt emotions from the system's reply. Although he was surprised, he could not help but feel a little more interested. His eyes turned slightly, and he looked at the little robot with a smile. "It hasn't been turned on yet. How do I use it?" Zhou Yanbai did not say anything. Instead, he looked at Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan glanced at him, then took the initiative to bring up the control panel and press it. Su Yiyen could only see his fingers typing a bunch of things on the panel. It was so fast that there were afterimages. Following his movements, Su Yiyen's eyes widened, and his heart thumped. There was only one thought left in his mind. No wonder people said that men were the most handsome when they were focused. Her husband was really handsome. Chapter 366. Ding dong, the notification sound of the page opening successfully pulled Su Yiyen back from his infatuation. "Give it a name." Hua Chenhuan turned to look at Su Yiyen with a hint of indulgence between his eyebrows. "Me. The person who names it will be its owner." Su Yiyen was enlightened. He carefully looked at the little robot and muttered, "Look at how round its body is, why don't we call it Yuan Yuan?" Hua Chenhuan, Zui Yanbai, the system, Su Yiyen even thought that the name was quite good. It fit the little robot's appearance and was catchy. What do you think? As long as you're happy. Therefore, this little robot that could not be bought with money was given a name so carelessly. However, the people around could not help but praise the person who named it against their will. It was a good name, a good name, a good name. The little robot. Weak, helpless, and pitiful. After Su Yiyen gave the little robot a name, he seemed to have thought of something and continued to harass the system. "Do you want me to give you a name too? 001 or whatever it is sounds very perfunctory." The system. Compared to a name like Yuan Yuan, it felt that 001 was quite good. In order to avoid this fatal problem, the system wisely chose to play dead. No matter how much Su Yiyen poked it, it was not willing to make a sound. Su Yiyen poked for a long time but did not get a response. He quickly gave up and continued to torment the little robot. After entering the name, there was another notification sound. The little robot's big black eyes suddenly lit up, and its internal system finally started to operate. "Hello, this is the intelligent little robot Yuan Yuan. From today onwards, I will serve you wholeheartedly. I hope that the owner will like me, love me, and treat me as a member of the family." After the rigid mechanical voice, it turned into a childish voice. "Hello, Big Sister Master, I'm number 001 AI, Yuan Yuan. Don't be fooled by my small size, I'm very useful." Su Yiyen was startled by her cheerful tone and her tone, which seemed to be asking for credit. She looked at Hua Chenhuan and asked with a smile, "Then what can you do?" "Yuan Yuan can carry the dishes, wash the clothes, clean the house, carry the table, change the light bulbs, and build the manor." Pfft. Su Yiyen listened to the little robot's childish voice as it said that it could carry a table and change light bulbs. For some reason, he felt like he was illegally hiring child labor. "You're so capable. How much should I pay you a month?" "Master, you don't need to pay Yuan Yuan a salary. You just need to let Yuan Yuan eat her fill and have the strength to work." Full. Su Yiyen was slightly startled. "Do you mean to recharge your batteries?" "No need." As soon as Su Yiyen finished speaking, Hua Chenhuan added, "It uses a solar panel. You just need to let it bask in the sun every day." Under normal circumstances, it can be used for 1 to 2 months after basking in the sun for 1 to 2 days. Oh wow! It could operate normally just by basking in the sun, and it could be used for 1 to 2 months. This was simply an extremely long standby. Thinking about it this way, even if this little robot couldn't protect its owner, it could still take on multiple roles. It could be a nanny, a pet, or even a playmate for children at home. It was simply a multi-purpose treasure chest. It was so much better than those little pets that always gave their owners attitude and ate a lot. Dun Dun, who was caught off guard, was confused. Chapter 367. It's fine as long as it's full. What a low requirement. At the very least, it should be enough to eat and wear warm clothes. How about this? I'll ask Uncle Jean to prepare a few small clothes for you to change into so that you can wear them to work every day. You can change out of them when they get dirty, okay? Rolly Yuan's round eyes instantly turned into crescents, and its tender voice was tinged with pure joy. Okay, Rolly Yuan will be responsible for washing the dirty clothes that you change out of. Its crisp voice coupled with its round shape really made people want to hold it in the palm of their hands and give it a few kisses. Do your own things, Rolly Yuan is so obedient. As Su Yiyen spoke, she seemed to have thought of something and frowned. But Rolly Yuan, are you a boy or a girl? Hua Chenhuan, pfft. Sui Yanbai couldn't help but laugh out loud. Then, he was rewarded with a cold glare by his young master. He was so scared that he shivered and lowered his head to hide the smile on his face. Su Yiyen didn't seem to care. She only raised her head and looked at Hua Chenhuan in confusion. In her opinion, this little fellow was a product of Hua Chenhuan's company, so Hua Chenhuan should have some say in this matter. Cough, robots don't have a clear gender. If you like girls, dress it up as girls. If you like boys, dress it up as boys. As soon as she finished speaking, Rolly Yuan continued, Rolly Yuan can be a girl or a boy, depending on master's needs. I can do anything. Su Yiyen. What kind of heartwarming little angel was this? Then it's better to be a girl. You can wear all kinds of little dresses. Su Yiyen looked at Rolly Yuan and felt that it would be more convenient for it to wear dresses. However, Hua Chenhuan and Zui Yanbai didn't think so at all. The two of them looked at each other. They inexplicably suspected that the reason why the short-legged robot liked to wear lace dresses was not because of its personal preference, but because of its master, Su Yiyen. Su Yiyen didn't know what the two of them were thinking. After confirming the gender of the little robot, it would take some time for someone to send some children's clothes over. She rolled her eyes and turned into the small kitchen. Seeing this, Zui Yanbai couldn't help but whisper to Hua Chenhuan, Young master, is young madam raising 001 like a child? Although Hua Chenhuan thought the same, she still scolded coldly, what 001? It's called Yuan Yuan. Zui Yanbai. Alright, whatever you say. As long as you're happy. Su Yiyen went to the kitchen to find an apron that she usually wore and put it on Yuan Yuan. The short skirt fit Yuan Yuan's body just right above his little round penis, and it was surprisingly fitting. The cute snowman pattern in the middle of the apron also looked very compatible with Yuan Yuan. Su Yiyen looked it up and down and said with satisfaction, not bad. I'll make do with it today. I'll change you into a beautiful dress tomorrow. Roly Poly, on the other hand, was very satisfied with this somewhat simple apron. There was even a faint blush on her cheeks. Yuan likes small skirts. Su Yiyen smiled, is that so? It seems that Yuan is indeed a girl. In the future, Master will change Yuan's salary into small skirts. Yes, yes. The pitiful unforgotten Zai finally returned home under Su Yushuan's escort. When it saw this scene, it was as if it was struck by lightning. What a heartless master. It had only been a day since it left home, and he already had a new lover. Chapter 368. Dun Dun was like a grieving wife who had caught her husband secretly meeting with a mistress. Its little penis was kicking as it struggled to escape from Su Yuxuan's embrace. Su Yuxuan was shocked. She wanted to hold it down, but she was worried that she would injure it severely. In a fluster, it quickly escaped. As soon as Dun Dun broke free from Su Yuxuan's embrace, it immediately ran in the direction of the little robot, barking as it ran. Dun Dun. Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment. When she saw Dun Dun flying towards the little robot, she subconsciously stood in front of the little robot to prevent Dun Dun from pouncing on the little robot. Unexpectedly, in the next second, she heard a familiar mechanical voice behind her. An attacking object has been detected. It is recommended that you immediately expel it. Expel. Before Su Yiyan had time to understand what this meant, she saw the little robot's cute little round hands suddenly retract. When it reappeared, it had become a hand-shaped paddle. Paw, woof. Dun Dun, who was originally aggressive and wanted to take down the mistress, flew out in a parabola and let out a terrified scream. Hua Qinhuan, Zui Yanbai, Su Yuxuan, who had rushed in to try and stop Dun Dun. In the end, Su Yiyan, the biological mother, was the first to react. She screamed and ran over to check on Dun Dun's situation. Fortunately, it was lucky. After it was sent flying by Yuan, it just happened to plunge into the grass outside the door and not into the rose bushes next to it. When Su Yiyan dug it out from the grass, it only had a few leaves on its body and its fur was dirty. The whole dog was dizzy and couldn't stand steadily, but its life was not in danger. Su Yiyan picked up Dun Dun and checked it from head to toe. After making sure that it was really fine, she heaved a sigh of relief and lowered her head to poke its little head. You, what should I say about you? Didn't I tell you not to pounce on others casually? Woof, Dun Dun let out a pitiful cry, looking at Su Yiyan with eyes full of complaints. Not only did you leave your little darling outside, you even found a new lover. It was one thing for him to have a new lover, but at this time, he was actually criticizing him for his new lover. You heartless master. Dun Dun was filled with grievances when the little robot ran over and asked its master, detected an aggressive life form. Do you want to expel it? Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. Only then did he understand what the little robot meant by banishing the dog. He laughed and said, "This is our family's dog. We can't banish it." Yuan received the order and ding dong, master's pet dog. Information has been backed up. No need to expel it. Yuan carefully and conscientiously checked the surrounding dangerous creatures for its master, but it didn't know that this action once again poked Dun Dun's sensitive little heart. Chapter 369. Su Yiyan looked at the dog and robot who were like fire and water. She helplessly held her forehead and felt a headache coming on. She reached out and patted Dun Dun's head, then rubbed its fur. She gently advised, Dun Dun, be good. This is Yuan, the new member of our family. You two have to get along well and be harmonious and friendly. Don't fight. When Dun Dun heard Su Yiyan's words, it did not continue to yell at Yuan. However, it suddenly turned around and faced Yuan with its butt. It was clear that it would not cooperate unless there was violence. There was absolutely no possibility of peaceful coexistence. Su Yiyan rubbed her aching head and sighed helplessly. Hua Qinhuan held her hand and comforted her. Maybe it's because there's suddenly an unfamiliar thing in the house. It'll be fine after a few days. I hope so. What is this? A robot. When the two heard the familiar voice, they subconsciously turned their heads, and only then did they notice Su Yuxuan standing at the side. "Brother. When did you come?" Su Yuxuan was a little dissatisfied with his sister's neglect. He coldly snorted and said, "I came with this little guy. You left it at home yesterday. This little heartless thing used to stay at home when you were at home. Now that you're married, this little fellow has also turned against us. He's been jumping up and down the whole night, wanting to find you, causing a huge commotion in our house. Look at the dark circles under my eyes. It was all caused by this little bastard last night." Su Yiyan listened to her brother's complaints, and a rare look of embarrassment appeared on her face. No wonder she kept feeling that she had missed something last night. It turned out that she had left this little thing at home. "I talked to my aunt yesterday and left Dun Dun at home. This little guy has been quite restless recently. Thank you for your hard work last night." Su Yuxuan sighed and did not continue to dwell on this issue. Instead, he turned his attention to the little robot at the side. "This little thing is a robot. Intelligent." Su Yiyan did not say anything. Instead, she glanced at Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan didn't hide anything. "It's our company's new product. We'll bring it back for Yan Yan to play with. Just treat it as a product test." Oh. Su Yuxuan was obviously very interested in this little robot, but in the end, she didn't ask Hua Chenhuan for it. However, Hua Chenhuan saw through his thoughts at a glance. Her eyes flashed slightly, and she smiled faintly. "This project is not very mature yet. When it's perfected, I'll give one to Big Brother to play with." The expression on Su Yuxuan's face stiffened, and he became angry out of humiliation. "Don't think that you can bribe me like this. We're all a family. What's the point of talking about bribing? If you have something good, don't tell me you're going to give it to strangers instead of your family." Su Yuxuan's eyes flickered. After a few minutes, he finally relented and said, "All right then. When you're done, sell me one to bring home." Hua Chenhuan's lips curved slightly, but she didn't refute. When the time came, wouldn't it be up to him to sell or give it away? This robot's technology is not mature yet. There won't be any danger in leaving it at home, right? No, our robot's priority is to protect its owner. Its owner is Yan Yan. Su Yuxuan was completely relieved. In the end, he looked at the little robot a few more times before leaving. During the conversation between the two, Su Yiyan didn't interrupt from beginning to end. It wasn't until Su Yuxuan left that he couldn't help but laugh out loud. "You really know how to win people's hearts. If you give this robot away, my brother won't be able to find fault with you in the future." Chapter 370. Hua Chenhuan looked at her deeply and said meaningfully, "I'll only be able to live a good life in your family if I please my brother-in-law. You make it sound like my brother and the rest really did something to you. My parents didn't make things difficult for you when you came home with me yesterday." Hua Chenhuan smiled but didn't say anything. The Su family didn't make things difficult for him yesterday and even tried to accept him. They had already shown their attitude, so he naturally couldn't be too passive. Even if it was for Su Yiyan, he should try his best to build a good relationship with them. "By the way, didn't you say that this robot only has some basic functions? Why did it have such a big reaction when Dun Dun pounced on it just now? Also, it had banished and punished." These words were especially frightening. Although its functions aren't particularly complete, it's still a robot assembled with this foundation, so it naturally has a certain level of protection. It's just that. It's just that its protection isn't particularly strong. At most, it can only chase it away. Su Yiyan instantly understood the meaning behind Hua Chenhuan's words. She probed, "If it's completely completed, wouldn't its lethality be?" Hua Chenhuan looked at her and said meaningfully, "Dun Dun was lucky to have his life back. Su Yiyen. Woof. Dun Dun, who didn't know that he had just brushed shoulders with the Grim Reaper, looked at his master and dog father in confusion. Su Yiyen patted his dog's head in pity. She didn't need to say anything. Su Yiyen still had to bring Hu Chenhuan to the Ning family in the afternoon. Before she left, she reminded her repeatedly. She told Yuan that Dun Dun was a family member. Even if he was a little rash, she couldn't be too harsh on him. She was afraid that when she came back from this trip, she would see her own child's cold corpse. Unfortunately, Dun Dun didn't understand his master's motherly feelings at all. As soon as he saw his master leave, he immediately ran to find trouble with Yuan excitedly. Su Yiyen still didn't know that no one could stop his family's dogs and bears when they got together. It was already 3:00 in the afternoon when the two arrived at the Ning residence. Perhaps because the Ning family had informed them in advance, the journey was smooth and they quickly arrived at the entrance of the Ning residence. To everyone's surprise, although Ning Siyuan was the only one who came out to welcome Su Yiyen and Su Yu, when they entered the house, there were 5 or 6 people sitting inside. Among them were 2 middle-aged couples and 2 white-haired old men who looked about the same age as her grandfather. Su Yiyen was slightly startled. For a moment, he was somewhat unable to grasp the meaning of this family. Hu Chenhuan seemed to have noticed that she was on guard against these people. He took the initiative to hold her hand and told her that he was here and that she didn't need to worry. Ning Siyuan was even more perceptive as he introduced the two of them. This is my parents and grandfather. Opposite them is my uncle, aunt, and grandfather. Su Yiyen raised his eyebrows. He quickly realized that the elders of the Ning family and the Qi family were all present. This lineup was not ordinary. But was this a show of force to show them who was in charge, or? Before she could think about it, Mrs. Ning had already stepped forward and held Su Yiyen's hand enthusiastically. You must be Mrs. Hu, right? Don't stand at the door. Come in and have a seat. Su Yiyen was stunned by her sudden familiarity. By the time she reacted, she had already been pulled in. Hu Chenhuan's eyes flashed when he saw this. He politely declined Ning Siyuan's help and turned his wheelchair to Su Yiyen's side. He looked coldly at the two families to see what they were up to. Chapter 371. In fact, the two of them really thought too much. The reason why the Ning and Qi families had gathered here was mainly because they wanted to see the two of them. When we heard about Ruirui's condition from Siyuan, we've always wanted to see you. However, Ruirui's illness really made us feel a little overwhelmed. Secondly, we were afraid that it would be too abrupt to come here rashly. 2 days ago, we heard Ruirui say that he wanted to invite you to our house, so we wanted to get together to see you and thank you. You're too kind. Chirue is an artist of our company. It's a good thing for me and the company that he's well. Su Yiyen paused and said awkwardly, if you don't mind, you can call me Yiyen. Su Yiyen felt a little psychological pressure to be addressed by a person who was old enough to be her mother. Okay. Mrs. Ning looked at Su Yiyen discreetly, and the more she looked, the more she liked her. It was a pity that she was already taken. Otherwise, regardless of age, appearance, or family background, she was very compatible with Siyuan. Mrs. Ning said and looked at her eldest son with disappointment. He was already so old, but he still didn't hurry to find a wife. All the good girls had been taken away by others. Young Master Ning, who was really shot even though he was lying down, was speechless. Mom, don't look at me. Can't you see that the wife's eyes are almost piercing your son into a sieve? Su Yiyen also had goosebumps when Mrs. Ning looked at her. She took the initiative to ask, Chirue should be better recently, right? There haven't been any other complications, right? As soon as Ning Qiruwei was mentioned, the attention of several people instantly focused on Su Yiyan. Recently, he has been slowly recovering. He has been eating the food that you sent over. His condition is indeed slowly improving. Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. As long as it doesn't worsen and there are no other complications, he will get better and better after a period of slowly recuperation. His illness can't be rushed. He has to recuperate for a while. When Mr. Ning heard her say this, he hurriedly said, "It doesn't matter how long it takes. As long as he can get better, it's worth it no matter how much time we spend." Madam Ning nodded in agreement. That's true. At this time, the old man sitting opposite her suddenly said, "I heard that you used acupuncture to treat Qiruwei. This method has been lost for a long time. Who would have thought that in the end, it would reappear in the hands of a young man? Truly, the new generation excels the old." Su Yiyan was slightly startled, but she immediately realized that Yi Qiliang had approached her because he had accidentally heard from Ning Qiruwei's grandfather that she had treated Ning Qiruwei. Now that this old man mentioned this, it was not strange. It just so happens that I have some books about this at home, and it just so happens that I have some interest and talent in this area, so I took advantage of it. You don't have to be modest. Although old man Yi has a bad temper, he never jokes about serious matters. He was full of praises for you, so I think you must have real talent and knowledge. Moreover, Qiruwei's recovery was indeed due to you. We all saw it and were very grateful to you." Su Yiyan listened to the old man's praise, but only laughed dryly. She was really not good at dealing with other people's gratitude. Hua Qinhuan saw Su Yiyan's discomfort. Her eyes darkened slightly, and she suddenly interjected, "You all gathered here so cautiously. It shouldn't be just to thank Yan, right?" Chapter 372. As soon as Hua Qinhuan said that, the room fell silent. The smile on Mrs. Ning's face froze for a moment. She pursed her lips, sighed, and said truthfully, "Just as Mr. Hua said, we gathered here to see Mrs. Hua and thank her in person. We also wanted to ask Mrs. Hua if she could take a look at Siyuan as well." For Madam Ning, these words were really difficult to say. She didn't ask for anything in return and spent time and effort to treat her youngest son, saving his life. It was bad enough that she didn't want to thank her or compensate her, but she actually wanted her to continue treating her eldest son. No matter how one looked at it, they seemed a little shameless. However, Mrs. Ning had no choice. Ning Siyuan's asthma had always been a worry for the family. Now that she suddenly knew that there was a possibility of a cure, she had no choice but to ask, even if it meant sacrificing her dignity. "I know this request is very unreasonable, but I still want to shamelessly beg you to be considerate of a mother's heart." "Mom." Ning Siyuan couldn't bear to see his mother humbling herself for him. He frowned and wanted to stop her. However, Mrs. Ning only looked at him deeply and continued, "Siyuan's asthma came from his mother's womb. All these years, I've often wondered if I did something evil in my previous life to cause my child to suffer like this." When Mrs. Ning said this, both families looked at her in surprise. Obviously, they didn't expect her to think this way. Because of this illness, Siyuan's body was weak when he was young. Every time he had an attack, he would suffer for a long time. As his parents, it's impossible for us not to feel sorry for him. In order to make him feel better, we moved from our hometown to City A, where the air quality is the best. Even so, his illness hasn't improved and he can only rely on medicine to alleviate it. Every medicine has its side effects. What really broke Mrs. Ning down was that they were already worried sick about their eldest son's illness. Their healthy youngest son suddenly fell ill. If it weren't for the help of a benefactor, he might have passed away earlier than their eldest son. Suddenly knowing this, Madam Ning almost fainted on the spot. Even now thinking about it, she still felt deeply frightened and scared. She couldn't bear the blow of losing any of her sons, and she couldn't worry about her children day and night. She was afraid that something would happen to him as soon as he left her sight, and she wouldn't have time to give him first aid or take medicine to relieve his pain. Su Yiyan did not immediately agree. Instead, he pondered for a moment and gave an ambiguous answer. "I'll think about it." Mrs. Ning looked a little disappointed. Mr. Ning reached out and hugged her. She quickly recovered and said with a faint smile, "Take your time to think about it. There's no rush." "Yes." Su Yiyan nodded. "Luo Weibing should have arrived, right?" "He's already here. I asked him to wait in Chirui's room." "Well, I'll go over to check on Chirui's situation first and meet him on the way. I'll walk you up." Ning Siyuan stood up and prepared to walk them up personally. Hua Qinhuan held Su Yiyan's hand that was about to push him upstairs. "You go up. I'll wait for you downstairs." Su Yiyan was a little surprised. She glanced at Hua Qinhuan and then at the people in the room. She was not relieved and said, "Wait for me here for a while. I'll be down soon." "Okay." Chapter 373. As she watched Su Yiyan follow Ning Siyuan upstairs, Hua Qinhuan's face darkened. She looked at everyone in the room expressionlessly. The few of them had witnessed the stark difference in Hua Qinhuan's attitude towards Su Yiyan compared to when he was with them. They also had some new speculations about the rumor that the two of them had a business marriage instead of true love. Mr. Ning patted his wife's hand comfortingly and said, "I heard that Mr. Hua's company has been busy applying for patents related to electronic products." Hua Qinhuan looked up at him. She was not surprised that he knew about this. Although the Ning and Qi families appeared to be big business families on the surface, they were comparable to the Qing family when it came to relationships within certain organizations. "Mr. Ning, are you interested in this too?" "I am, but unfortunately, I don't know much about this. I'm not an expert. If I really want to enter the industry, I'll need a professional to guide me." Hua Qinhuan's eyes flickered. She instantly understood Mr. Ning's intentions. "So, you chose me to be your guide." Mr. Ning did not expect Hua Qinhuan to be so straightforward. He frowned and said honestly, "You can say that." "Reason? What is it?" "My reason for choosing me." Mr. Ning's face stiffened. He coughed softly and said, "This type of product requires a lot of investment. Even if it can be listed, it will require a fixed amount of publicity funds in the initial period. We can invest in all of this." "Is it because of Ning Siyuan's illness?" Hua Qinhuan saw through their intentions. "You want me to persuade Yan Yan to agree to treat Ning Siyuan through investment?" "Yes." This was the only way they could think of to repay Su Yiyan. "I refuse." Mr. and Mrs. Ning were shocked. "Mr. Hua, you can think about it." I won't force Yan Yan to do anything that she doesn't want to do. But, if she agrees to treat Ning Siyuan today, she will treat him even if you don't cooperate with me. On the other hand, if she's not willing to treat Ning Siyuan, even if you work with me, I won't ask her for benefits." Madam Ning looked anxious. She wanted to say something but was stopped by Grandpa Qi. Shuang heir. Qi Yushuang pursed her lips and lowered her head in disappointment. The two elders, who had the most authority, looked at each other and thought highly of Hua Qinhuan. It was Yao Hui and the others who were rude. "Even without your wife, the prospects of your company's products are still very promising." Hua Qinhuan met Elder Ning's gaze. Her eyes were deep and she didn't say anything. Su Yiyan did not know what had happened downstairs after she left. She followed Ning Siyuan up to the second floor and soon arrived at Ning Chirui's room. As soon as he opened the door, he could see the furnishings inside. In order to store the medical equipment in the already spacious room, the room next door was forcibly opened, and the two rooms were combined into one. Not only were there one or two medical equipment in the room, but there were also all kinds of furniture and game equipment. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched. Ning Siyuan stood next to her and understood her thoughts at a glance. He said awkwardly, "Chirue can't go out during this period. It's too boring to be alone in the room." "He's not a quiet person." Su Yiyen was speechless. "You don't have to explain. How could your brother be so unrestrained while recovering from his illness? Did he forget that he was still a patient?" Chapter 374. There were only 3 people in the room, Ning Chirue, his agent, and Luo Weibing. Seeing Su Yiyen walk in, Luo Weibing was surprised, but he did not think much about it. He just thought that Ning Chirue had called her over. Ning Chirue's eyes lit up when he saw Su Yiyen, but he complained with some dissatisfaction, "Didn't you say you'd be here at 3? Why are you here so late? As the boss of the company, you have no sense of time at all." Su Yiyen laughed. This guy started to act like a young master as soon as he got better. He looked cute when he was sick and miserable some time ago. "I did arrive at 3 o'clock, but I talked to your parents downstairs for a while, so I was delayed." "You're here to see me. What's the point of talking to them?" Ning Chirue's attitude towards Su Yiyen's conversation made Luo Weibing's expression change for a moment, but he quickly suppressed it and did not let anyone see it. "Chirue!" Ning Siyuan scolded Ning Chirue. "Don't be so rude." Ning Chirue was stunned by his scolding. He was a little unconvinced, but he did not say anything. Su Yiyen did not mind. After 2 or 3 months of contact, she had roughly figured out the young master's temperament. She knew that although he was a little capricious and arrogant, he did not have a bad heart. "Although I'm here to see you, I'm still a guest. How can a guest not greet the guest when he arrives at the host's house?" Ning Chirue's expression improved a little. He glanced behind the two and wondered, "Where's your family?" "They're downstairs." Su Yiyen raised her eyebrows slightly and deliberately showed a wave of affection in front of them. "We have to talk about things here for a while. I'm afraid that he'll be tired if he waits for too long, so I let him talk to your parents downstairs to relieve his boredom." Ning Siyuan. How could she lie through her teeth like that? Ning Chirue. Did you misunderstand your husband? He's a big man in a wheelchair. How tired can he be? Why does he sound like a weak little girl in your mouth? And if he's tired of sitting and waiting, isn't he tired of talking to my parents? The corners of Ning Chirue's mouth twitched, and he looked constipated. Although he hadn't seen Hu Chenhuan many times, he always felt that this man was filled with a dangerous aura. If this feeling had to be summed up, it could be called the intuition of a small animal encountering a dangerous natural enemy. Now that he heard Su Yiyen's words, he subconsciously shuddered and got goosebumps all over his body. Su Yiyen was a little disappointed that Ning Chirue didn't answer, so he turned his eyes to Luo Weibing. "Best actor Luo." Luo Weibing lowered his eyes and said, "Boss Su, just call me by my name." Su Yiyen raised an eyebrow. "You know me." The video of Mr. Su angrily scolding his ex-fiancée and his mistress has been widely circulated on the internet. Su Yiyen stared blankly for a moment before she chuckled. "So that's how it is. I heard that you plan to transfer to our company." Luo Weibing didn't expect to meet Su Yiyen before this. To be precise, he wasn't mentally prepared to meet her so early and under such circumstances. After a long silence, he nodded hesitantly. "Yes, if possible, I want to transfer to your company. But I have a request. For your sister." Luo Weibing was stunned again. He lowered his head slightly and said in a hoarse voice, "Yes." I hope your company can arrange for Mr. Ning's attending doctor to take a look at my sister. Her health is not very good. Su Yiyan saw Luo Weibing's defense and didn't intend to continue to beat around the bush. She reached out and said, "Where's the case? Give it to me." Chapter 375. Luo Weibing's eyes widened and he looked at Su Yiyan in surprise. His hand holding the medical record tightened subconsciously. Ning Qiruo saw that he did not respond for a long time and urged him, "Give it to her." Su Yiyan also smiled, "You have been clamoring to see me before. Now that I am in front of you, why are you hesitating?" Luo Weibing thought to himself, "When did I clamor to see you?" The words were about to come out of his mouth when he suddenly realized something. His face changed. What? You are the attending doctor that Ning Qiruo mentioned." The smile on Su Yiyan's face suddenly froze. He turned his head and glared daggers at Ning Qiruo. Ning Qiruo touched his nose guiltily and whispered, "You are the one who treated her, so it's not wrong to say so." Luo Weibing finally woke up from his daze and hurriedly handed over the information in his hand. "Sorry, I didn't think of it. I'm really sorry, I didn't." In the eyes of the fans, this big star was humble, gentle, calm and introverted. It was rare to see pure fear and anxiety on his face. He was afraid that Su Yiyan would not treat his sister because of his negligence just now. Su Yiyan took the information and flipped through it slightly to see the test results at the bottom. Heart failure. Su Yiyan knew that Luo Weibing's sister died because of heart problems, but he did not expect it to be heart failure. How could a 12-year-old girl suffer from heart failure? Luo Weibing saw Su Yiyan frowning and looking dignified. His heart also thumped and he called out tentatively, "President Su." Su Yiyan took a deep breath and asked in a low voice, "Heart palpitations, difficulty breathing, and blue and purple lips. When did these symptoms begin?" Luo Weibing was stunned. These things were not written in the diagnosis, but Su Yiyan could say it all at once. Luo Weibing could not help but have a glimmer of hope in his heart. These symptoms began to appear one by one about 3 months ago. At first, they were only occasional, but in the past month, they began to become frequent. What about before? This child should have had other minor symptoms before, such as fatigue easily, chest tightness from time to time, shortness of breath and so on. Didn't you notice anything before this? Luo Weibing's face changed slightly, and the hand hanging on his side tightened subconsciously. That's right, he didn't notice it. More accurately, he did notice it, but he didn't take it to heart. In his opinion, his sister's body had always been weak since she was young. In addition, when their parents had just passed away, the two of them had been tossing and turning all over the place. This had affected the child's body and mind to a certain extent. His younger sister had always been quiet since she was young. After her parents passed away, she didn't like to talk much. Other than with him, she was always timid and scared of strangers. Luo Weibing always thought that what Su Yiyan just said was the sequela of his sister's nervousness and sensitivity after the death of his parents, but he didn't expect that these were all his sister's death talismans. It was one thing for his sister to hide the fact that she was not feeling well and did not want to disturb him because of her. But this couldn't cover up his dereliction of duty. It was he who didn't discover his sister's abnormality at the first moment and let her seek medical treatment as soon as possible. If something happened to his sister because of this, he was afraid that he would never forgive himself in his life. Su Yiyan obviously thought of this. He sighed and said, "Forget it. It doesn't make sense to say this now. Let's find a way to save the child first." Chapter 376. When Luo Weibing hears Su Yiyan's words, he immediately looks forward to it. "Do you have a way?" I can't make a conclusion for the time being without seeing her, but you have to be mentally prepared. Luo Weibing looks at Su Yiyan's serious face and his heart trembles. He is afraid of getting a terrible answer. What? This disease is not easy to cure. Although it can be prevented to a certain extent, it may not be completely cured. If this is the case, your sister may have to take medicine for a lifetime. Your sister is only 12 years old this year, which means that you may have to pay for her long-term medical expenses. Su Yiyan doesn't finish the words, but the meaning of the words is clear. To prolong life or to give up, the responsibility of choosing the former is more than 1,000 times heavier. This is a helpless multiple-choice question, but it is also the most serious test of human nature. Luo Weibing doesn't even think about it. These are not problems. As long as my sister can be well, as long as she is well. Su Yiyan heaved a sigh of relief when she heard what he said. All right. Then let's talk about your contract. I have talked about this with Mr. Xia of your company before. My request is very simple. As long as you can cure my sister, I can compromise on the specific share. This is the rhythm of directly signing the contract of selling himself. Su Yiyan's eyebrows are slightly bent, but he is not stunned by his sugar-coated cannonball. Instead, he asked a completely unrelated question. How was your relationship with your previous manager? Luo Weibing's face suddenly becomes subtle. Not very good. Su Yiyan is amused by his words. Not very good, but very bad. Luo Weibing is embarrassed and says truthfully, because of Chi-Chi's affairs, I haven't been doing my job recently, so my relationship with him is not particularly good. What Luo Weibing doesn't say is that his agent is a person who is used to taking advantage of the wind and putting interests first. He has done a lot of dirty things. When he first signed in that company, he thought that he had a good luck and had a way out, but the reality slapped him hard. In order to save a female artist who was also a pimp, Luo Weibing offended a powerful department leader in the company. He was slandered and kept in cold storage for more than 2 years. During that time, Luo Weibing not only lost his source of income, but also was repeatedly found trouble. The whole family was restless. Even his sister was frightened by him several times. At that time, he had really thought of dying. But when he thought of how young his sister was, without him taking care of her, there would only be one outcome for her, so he had no choice but to grit his teeth and persevere. As for his manager, not only did he not lend him a helping hand at that time, he even stepped on him a few times out of fear that he would be held accountable for his actions in order to please the team leader. Later on, he was spotted by the director of a small web drama because of his cameo. He was given a chance to play the second male lead in the drama. No one expected that such an inconspicuous director, such an inconspicuous web drama, the male and female protagonists were not popular, but Luo Weibing, the second male lead, was unexpectedly popular. Luo Weibing felt that his luck in his life might have been used at that time. When he suddenly became popular, the company was just in a state of shortage. Suddenly, there appeared an artist who could be supported. Even if the former department leader fanned the flames behind his back and tried his best to prevent the company from cultivating him, he still couldn't win. Chapter 377. Luo Weibing seized the opportunity and became the company's hottest newcomer. He lived up to the company's expectations. Soon, he won countless awards with his own ability and became a double gold actor that many people couldn't get in their lives. His manager had returned to his side once again, trying to curry favor with him and coerce him into doing so. Luo Weibing was already disappointed with this agent and the company at that time. It was just that it involved the contract, so he had to stay in the company. Even if Luo Weibing didn't say it, Su Yiyan could probably guess some of it. There were only a few reasons why agents and artists had conflicts. Looking at Luo Weibing's face, she was afraid that it was not as simple as him taking less work recently. Does he have anything on you? I don't think so. Luo Weibing thought of that person's virtue and frowned slightly. But with his personality, maybe he will make something out of nothing. Su Yiyan's eyes darkened slightly, and she said with a smile, "This is troublesome. We are such a small company. If we really fight with your original agency..." As soon as Luo Weibing heard her words, he immediately became anxious. "Boss Su, I really want to enter your company sincerely, and I have never done anything harmful to others." "You..." Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh out loud. Okay, I didn't say that I don't want you. Let me finish." Luo Weibing pursed his lips and looked at her eagerly, but she said proudly in the next second, "Our small company may not win against your former agency, but my husband is rich. With his help, no one can touch the people in my company. Luo Weibing, the others in the room, will you die if you don't show off your love?" Ning Chirue was annoyed by the public display of affection and said angrily, "Can't you be more promising? You look for your husband for everything." Su Yiyan heard this and sneered. "I haven't seen you for a few days, and your mouth has become nimble again. Believe it or not, I will give you a few needles now. No matter how many needles you give me, I will say the same thing." Ning Chirue looked unconvinced. "Am I wrong? You always bring up your husband. Can't you have a little backbone?" "Backbone? My husband and I are family. What's his is mine. If I don't hug such a big golden thigh and hold on by myself, that's not called having a backbone, that's called being stupid." Ning Chirue was speechless. Oh, how infuriating. But I couldn't refute it. This single dog was really anxious to death. Ning Siyuan watched the scene from the side with a slight smile. In the past, he had only seen his younger brother make people speechless. It was rare to see someone make him so speechless. However, Ning Siyuan subconsciously glanced at Su Yiyan. Being able to make a woman trust and rely on him was a kind of happiness for some people. After defeating Ning Chirue, Su Yiyan proudly raised his chin and looked at Luo Weibing. "If you sincerely want to come to our company, I will call Brother Junqing when I go back and ask him to contact you to discuss the contract. But you have to be mentally prepared. I don't expect you to bring much benefit to my company, but I don't like artists who are disloyal to my company. Moreover, our company's contract year is more stringent. People like you must sign a 10-year contract at one time." Luo Weibing was stunned. He was 24 this year. 10 years later, he would be 34. It could be said that he had signed the golden 10 years of his life in this circle. Chapter 378. Su Yiyan glanced at him. "What do you think? Do you need some time to think about it?" "No need." Luo Weibing said without thinking, "As long as you can save my sister, I will sign the 10-year contract." "That's good." Su Yiyan's eyes lit up slightly. "You don't have to worry. I signed you to the company to make money. I won't treat you badly in terms of resources. As for your sister's medical expenses, I will deduct it from your salary. Ning Chirue told you that my treatment of him is an internal employee benefit. You will be an artist of our company after signing the contract. You can also enjoy the internal employee benefits." Luo Weibing was slightly startled and then couldn't help but laugh. "I understand. I will talk to Mr. Xia as soon as possible." "Okay." Luo Weibing's sister was still in the hospital. Luo Weibing was worried about leaving for too long. After confirming his work with Su Yiyan, he left first. When leaving, Ning Chirue suddenly asked Ning Siyuan to help send Luo Weibing off. Although Ning Siyuan was puzzled, he did not say anything and took Luo Weibing downstairs. As soon as the two left, Su Yiyan turned around and asked Ning Chirue, "You deliberately sent your brother away. Is there anything you want to say to me?" Ning Chirue stiffened and said uncomfortably, what did my parents talk to you about just now? What do you think they talked about with me? Is it related to my brother's illness? You actually know about it. Su Yayan exclaimed and looked at Ning Chiroe with surprise in her eyes. Ning Chiroe was irritated by her look. What do you mean I actually know? Am I that stupid? Although his family said that they wanted to see Su Yiyan to thank her in person for saving him, Ning Chiroe was not stupid. If it was only his parents, it would be fine. Even his grandfather and the others were dragged over. Obviously, it was not just to thank her in person. After thinking about it, the only possibility was that it was about his brother's illness. Su Yiyan looked at him and joked, "No." Ning Chiroe's face darkened and turned his face to the side. "Humph." Su Yiyan laughed. "Since you've already guessed it, don't you have anything to say to me?" Ning Chiroe furrowed his brows and turned his face around again. He carefully probed, "Then my brother's illness. It can be cured." Ning Chiroe's face lit up. "Then, I have a condition." "Didn't you just mention internal employee benefits?" "Oh, you mean Luo Weibing. He's a key employee, so he's naturally different from someone like you." "What do you mean by, like me? What do I look like?" Ning Chiroe suddenly became angry. "We're both artists in the company. How is he different from me? I'm an old employee. He's here with results." Su Yiyan crossed her arms in front of her chest and clicked her tongue. "On the other hand, not only did your performance not stand out, you even dragged us down. How can you compare yourself to others?" Ning Chiroe, who was struggling to find a job, felt as if a knife had been stabbed in his heart. He was so angry that he could not refute it. "Moreover, you've already used this benefit yourself. Now you want to use it a second time. Do you really think our company is a charity?" Ning Chiroe's little heart was pierced by an arrow again, and his whole person became dispirited. "Is there no other way?" "There is." Ning Chiroe suddenly looked up and looked at her with sparkling eyes. Su Yiyan's lips curled up into an extremely annoying smile. Beg me, Ning Chiroe. Childish." Chapter 379. Ning Chiroe was stunned for a few seconds and became angry. "I'm not joking with you." "I'm not joking with you either." Su Yiyan blinked innocently. Ning Chiroe froze. He stared at Su Yiyan for a while and finally gave in. Avoiding Su Yiyan's eyes, he whispered, "Will you really agree if I beg you?" "You can try. It depends on my mood." "You." Ning Chiroe exploded again. The two continued to stare at each other. After a few seconds, Su Yiyan held back her laughter and said, "So, are you begging me or not?" "If you're not begging, I'm leaving." Su Yiyan pretended to leave. Ning Chiroe was anxious. "Wait. Ha. I beg you." Ning Chiroe's voice was not much louder than a mosquito. Su Yiyan's eyes flashed slightly. "What? I didn't hear you." Ning Chiroe glared at her fiercely. Please cure my brother. Is this okay?" Su Yiyan could not hold back and laughed. "You, begging someone is like seeking revenge. So, are you going to save him or not? Let me ask you a question first. After you recover, do you still want to stay in the entertainment industry and continue to be a small star?" Ning Chiroe was stunned. Just say whether you want to or not." "I want to. I'm not a person who gives up halfway. If I say I want to go back, I want to go back in glory." "That's fine. You originally signed a 3-year contract, right? You can renew it with Luo Weibing for a few years and make it a 10-year contract." Su Yiyan had already thought about it. These potential stocks must be secured in advance so that her company could develop as soon as possible. Ning Chiroe was not stupid. After a few seconds, he quickly reacted and said angrily, "Treacherous, childish, bastard, stingy, Zhou. Su Yiyan let him scold him. How did he find this little bastard so amusing in the past? After scolding him for a long time, it didn't hurt or itch, and he couldn't think of a new word. After he finished scolding, Su Yiyan smiled and said, "This is a lesson for you. In the future, don't listen to what others say. Otherwise, it's a small matter if you hurt yourself, but it's a big matter if you hurt your family." Ning Chiroe's expression changed slightly. He knew that Su Yiyan was referring to his trust in Wen Jingping and his previous hostility towards her. Thinking about it from another perspective, if he was insinuated by someone for no reason, he would not repay evil with kindness and save the life of the person who instigated him. Fortunately, he had fallen ill right after he finished mocking Su Yiyan. Otherwise, he would have been brainwashed by Wen Jingping to the point that he believed her without a doubt. He really couldn't be sure what he would have done to Su Yiyan. That's right, it was brainwashing. Although he was sick during this period, he did pay attention to the storms on the internet. Naturally, he knew how much trouble Wen Jingping had caused after he fell ill. The more he read, the clearer his mind became. When he thought about it, he felt more and more that he had been possessed a few months ago. Why did he have such a good impression of a strange woman so easily? Why did he so easily believe all of her words and completely treat her as a victim? Even the slightest doubt was accompanied by a strong sense of guilt. Especially when he heard Su Yiyan say this, he couldn't help but feel scared. If he had really listened to Wen Jingping's words and done something substantial to hurt her with righteous indignation, would she still save him? Would she still save his family? Chapter 380. Su Yiyan saw the fear in Ning Chiroe's eyes and knew that he already knew what was going on, so she did not continue to discuss this topic. "If there's nothing else, I should go back. Have a good rest. As for the contract, I'll let someone talk to you when you're better." "Hey, don't." Ning Chiroe said anxiously, "Hurry up. You want to sign it so badly." Ning Chiroe almost exploded again. "Didn't you just tell Luo Weibing that he can only treat his sister after signing the contract? The earlier you sign it, the earlier my brother can recover." Su Yiyan smiled. "Okay, then I'll let Brother Junqing arrange it as soon as possible. You should take care of yourself first. The sooner you recover, the sooner you can shine for the company." "Cheapskate Joe, you only know how to exploit small employees like us." Su Yiyan ignored Ning Chiroe's dissatisfaction and left contentedly. After leaving Ning Chiroe's room and walking forward for a while, she found that Ning Chiroe's agent had followed her out. "Why are you out too? What's the matter?" The agent was all smiles. "I'll walk you out, walk you out." Su Yiyan glanced at him and did not think much, until, "President Su, about the employee benefits you just mentioned to Chiroe, can I also?" Su Yiyan paused and turned to look at him in surprise. "What's wrong with you?" "It's just that we're old, and our married life is not very harmonious." Ning Chiroe's agent was in his early 40s and had many characteristics of a middle-aged man. He was greasy, bald, and had a beer belly. When he smiled, the flesh on his face was a little twisted. But it was such a person who had been by Ning Chiroe's side to help take care of him when he was sick. He had never thought of bringing another newcomer to transfer the contracts that Ning Chiroe had not been able to complete before. He was a serious and responsible person who valued friendship. Su Yiyan could not help but want to hold her forehead when she heard his words. She really opened a real management company, not a private hospital that specialized in treating difficult diseases and infertility. "Okay, when I'm free this weekend, I'll make some medicinal cuisine for you. Send them in batches, and increase the severity of the cases. Postpone your case for now. The manager was a simple and honest person. When he heard Su Yiyen's words, not only did he not have any objections, he even felt a little touched. The company's CEO spent his personal break time to give them employee benefits. With such a good boss, he was full of energy and could work for another 500 years. Fortunately, Su Yiyen did not know what he was thinking. Otherwise, he would have despised him. 500 years had passed, yet he was still so energetic. Who was he trying to scare? When Su Yiyen came downstairs, Wu Qinhuan's conversation with the two families was almost over. Their expressions were the same as usual, and nothing could be seen. Seeing Su Yiyen coming down from upstairs, Wu Qinhuan's face softened slightly. She took the initiative to ask, "Is everything settled?" "Well, it's all settled. Let's go home." "All right." When Qi Yushuang heard that the two were leaving, she tried to persuade them to stay. "It's getting late. Why don't you stay for dinner before you leave? The chef at home is new. Although his cooking is not as good as your restaurant's, it's still edible." Su Yiyen refused without hesitation. "No, we still have something to do. We won't stay any longer." Qi Yushuang wanted to say something, but was stopped by her husband. In the end, she could only bow her head in disappointment and watch the two leave. As soon as they came out of the Qi family, Su Yiyen happily shared the harvest of her trip with Wu Qinhuan. Chapter 381. You don't know. I've tied up 2 good seedlings for the company. When they enter my company, the company's performance will soon improve. Wu Qinhuan looks at Su Yiyen's radiant appearance, a little happy and a little sour. "Do you like them so much? They can help me make money." "Of course, I like them." "You like money so much." "Of course, I have you to support. Although the companies you gave me made a lot of profits, no one would complain about having too much money, right?" Listening to the tone of Su Yiyen's words, it was clear that she wanted to raise Wu Qinhuan as a canary. If someone else dared to say this, Wu Qinhuan would have been thrown into the sea to feed the fish. But when he heard Su Yiyen say this, he only felt his heart soften. The subtle sourness from before also quickly dissipated completely. Su Yiyen didn't notice that her husband's jealousy came and went quickly. She was worried about how to arrange Luo Weibing. Luo Weibing could achieve this with his grassroots background. Needless to say, his strength and appearance were good. Such a money tree, if she didn't make good use of it, how could she be the boss of a company? However, because Luo Weibing had a high status, she couldn't abuse him at will. She couldn't put any messy resources on him. It was best to take the road of simple and high-class acting, and the company could help to package him. Now what needed to be considered was the agent and follow-up resources. The agent was simple. Previously, she had used Wen Jingping's incident to flare up and purge many problematic managers and executives in the company. Now most of the people left were honest people who were more dutiful but not stupid. It should not be difficult to choose one of them to lead the movie King. As for resources, do we have a spokesperson for the holographic game? Spokesperson? Wu Qinhuan was surprised. No. The first holographic game in the world, this gimmick alone was enough to attract a large wave of game fans. There was no need to attract any traffic at all. Therefore, from the beginning, they didn't intend to find anyone to endorse. But if the boss's wife asked for a spokesperson, it was not impossible to consider. You want an artist from your company to be the spokesperson for this game. Keep the goodies within the family. Su Yiyen had a sly look on her face. Can I? At the end of the month, Luo Weibing's contract with his brokerage company expired. 1 best actor and 1 best actress, their status is still enough. They won't let the game company suffer. As long as you're happy. It's settled then. Su Yiyen enjoyed the pleasure of nibbling on her husband. After solving the big problem in her heart, she thought about Ning Chirui's family. What did they talk about with you after I went up? Just some business matters. Business matters. They want to work with you. Yes. Is there nothing else apart from this? They didn't ask you to persuade me to treat Ning Xiyuan. Hua Qinhuan was slightly startled. At the same time, she felt that it was natural. Her Yan was so smart. How could he not guess what those people were thinking? Yes. Su Yiyen's interest was instantly piqued. What did they tell you? Before Hua Qinhuan could finish, Su Yiyen reminded him first. Don't lie. Don't hide anything. Hua Qinhuan choked and said helplessly, they want me to persuade you to treat Ning Xiyuan by investing in cooperation with me. Chapter 382. This result was within Su Yiyen's expectations. She was just a little absent-minded. After reading the so-called original novel, Su Yiyen only understood in hindsight. Hua Xiaofeng's family was obviously incompetent, and Wen Jingping was obviously just an ordinary woman with no family background. Hua Qinhuan spent so much effort to completely destroy these scumbags in her previous life. Now, because of her involvement, these two families not only did not stand on Wen Jingping's side, but also took the initiative to seek cooperation with Hua Qinhuan. Did this mean that a lot of the plot had changed? She and Hua Qinhuan, and even her family would not end in tragedy like in her previous life. Yan, Hua Qinhuan's low voice pulled Su Yiyen's attention back. Did you promise them? No. Su Yiyen was anxious. Why? What if Wen Jingping took advantage of such a good opportunity and took it back? I don't want to ask you to do something you don't like. Su Yiyen was stunned and immediately laughed. But I've already promised Ning Chirue that I would help his brother. Aren't you missing out on a great opportunity? Hua Qinhuan was not surprised by this result. His Yan was so kind. If someone sincerely asked for help, he would certainly help. Your promise means that you are willing to do this, and you will be happy because of it. For me, this is the most important thing. Su Yiyen. Oh my God. Where did this guy learn to say so many sweet nothings? She couldn't take it anymore. Su Yiyen, who was a little dizzy from the sugar-coated words, could not hold on to her bottom line. When the driver in front was not paying attention, she leaned over and kissed Hua Qinhuan. Forget it, forget it. If they are sincere about cooperating with your company. Before Su Yiyen could finish, she was interrupted by Hua Qinhuan, our company. Okay. If they were sincere about cooperating with our company, they would have come to us even without this incident. On the other hand, if they cooperated with other purposes, they would gather when the benefits were plentiful and disperse when the benefits were exhausted. When the time came, they would leave. The most frightening thing was that they would come back and stab you with a knife. That would be the real deal. Even if there really came a day where the plot, which had already deviated from its original track, returned to its original position, this group of people had not been able to defeat Hua Qinhuan in her previous life. This time, with her around, she would not let them succeed so easily. When the two of them returned home from the Ning residence, it was already dark. As soon as they got out of the car, they heard a burst of heart-wrenching dog barking, as well as the screams of men and women. The smile on Su Yiyen's face stiffened. She suddenly thought of something and hurriedly pushed Hua Qinhuan inside. By the time the two of them arrived at the house, the initial commotion had already subsided. A group of people stood in an empty space in the hall, looking at something. Su Yiyen could vaguely see Roly-Poly's cold metal shell through the gaps in the crowd. Her heart could not help but tremble slightly. She asked in a low voice, "What happened?" Hearing her voice, the people who were originally surrounding her subconsciously turned around and looked in her direction. Su Yiyen was also proud of the scene in the middle of the crowd. Roly Poly was still wearing the little apron she gave it in the morning, but its little hands had turned into huge shiny scissors. About half a meter away from it, a pitiful bald cub had curled itself into a ball and shut itself in. On the floor beside it, there were many brown and white, its fur. Chapter 383. Su Yiyen's face went blank for a moment. After a while, she finally found her voice. What's going on? Ahem. Uncle Zhang saw Su Yiyen asking and said truthfully, after young master and young mistress went out, Dun Dun kept circling Yuan Yuan. It followed Yuan Yuan when she swept the floor, and when Yuan Yuan went out to mow the lawn, it also followed. It even harassed Yuan Yuan a few times, but it was basically just small fights. Therefore, they didn't take it to heart at first. They only thought that this little guy saw that there was a new companion in the house that could move, work, and talk, so it kept harassing it because it was curious. They didn't expect that this distraction would cause problems. We saw that they were playing well at first, so we didn't pay too much attention. But we didn't expect Dun Dun to get angry at this time and keep pouncing on Yuan Yuan, trying to knock it down. Su Yiyen frowned. It wasn't that she didn't know about Dun Dun's hostility towards Yuan Yuan. She originally thought that this little guy would at least listen to her after nagging for so long. But now, it seemed that she was still taking it for granted. Dun Dun was quite fierce, but it wasn't as agile as Yuan Yuan. After Yuan Yuan dodged it a few times, it got angrier and wanted to bite Yuan Yuan's apron, so Yuan Yuan. Uncle Zhang's words were implicit, but Su Yiyen still quickly understood the ins and outs of the matter. In the end, this matter was that the brat found out that there was a new companion in the house, and it was afraid that it would fall out of favor. It was unhappy, so it tried its best to find trouble with its companion, wanting to put it in its place. But it didn't expect that its companion was a tough nut to crack. The brat didn't want to find trouble, but instead kicked an iron plate and got itself into trouble. When Yuan Yuan saw Su Yiyen, it was especially guilty and moved left and right on the spot a few times, probing, "Master, did Yuan Yuan do something wrong?" Su Yiyen's heart immediately softened when she heard its soft baby voice. Besides, it really couldn't be blamed for this matter. No, Yuan Yuan didn't do anything wrong. This is Dun Dun's fault. Master apologizes to you on behalf of Dun Dun. Roly Poly's dark eyes lit up instantly, and he said cheerfully, "Master, you don't have to apologize to Roly Poly. Roly Poly didn't lose out. However, Master, can you not let it bite Yuan Yuan's little apron? The little apron was given to it by Master. Yuan Yuan likes it very much and doesn't want it to be bitten." Su Yiyen was stunned. She finally understood why the good-tempered Roly Poly would suddenly do such a thing to Dun Dun. "Okay, Master will teach it a lesson and not let it bite your little apron again." Woof. The autistic Dun Dun realized that not only did his master not come to comfort him, but he even went to talk nicely to his new lover who had caused him to become like this. Dun Dun's heart sank. Sure enough, after losing its fur, it had become yesterday's flower. It had been completely defeated by this new little fairy. "Why are you here?" After knowing the ins and outs of the matter, and confirming that Dun Dun was not injured other than a few shaved patches of fur on its body, Su Yiyen quickly turned her attention to Ling Xiaoqi. Ling Xiaoqi touched her nose and laughed. "I wanted to say that I didn't have anything to do this weekend, so I brought Hua Hua over to see you guys. I didn't expect to see you the moment I came over." Ling Xiaoqi was in a fit of anger that day, and anxiously called Su Yiyen over to bring Dun Dun back. After calming down for a few days, she realized that she had lost control of her attitude that day, and wanted to bring Hua Hua over to apologize to Su Yiyen. Chapter 384. As she did not inform Su Yiyan in advance that she was coming, the two of them only found out that Su Yiyan and Hua Chenhuan had gone out together when they arrived at the family Hua. In the end, before she could apologize, she saw a big show. This little robot belongs to your family. It's so cute. Its voice is so soft, just like a child's. It was just sent here this morning. It's called Yuan Yuan. Yuan Yuan, say hi to her. Su Yiyan had just spoken when Yuan Yuan stepped forward to greet Ling Xiaoqi. Hello beautiful big sister, I'm the robot Yuan Yuan. I'm very sorry for letting you see this scene. Please accept Yuan Yuan's sincere apology. Yuan Yuan lowered its little round head as it spoke, looking as if it was blaming itself. Ling Xiaoqi exclaimed and looked it up and down. This little fellow can even call me big sister and apologize to me. Where did you find such a magical little thing? Chenhuan Company's new product. It's fun, right? It can also clean the house, wash the clothes, and tidy the yard. A housekeeping robot. Doesn't that mean I don't have to worry about housework anymore? Su Yiyan smiled and did not explain. Dun Dun, who was lying on the ground and being ignored for a long time, watched its master and mother-in-law successively fall into the hands of others. This heartbroken cub subconsciously sought out Hua Hua's comfort, but it saw that the Hua Hua, who had been protecting it wholeheartedly not long ago, actually showed a look of disdain towards it. It pattered back to its master's side and ignored it. Dundun's fiery male dog heart instantly shattered into countless pieces. Chenhuan Company's new toy is not particularly perfect yet. When it's completely developed, I'll give one to you. Su Yiyan had always been generous to those who were good to her, especially to Ling Xiaoqi, a good friend who had died tragically because of her in her previous life. Su Yiyan would always subconsciously want to help her more. Whenever there was something good, she would think of her first. Ling Xiaoqi's eyes lit up, but they quickly dimmed. Forget it. This kind of robot isn't cheap. Our family only has Hua Hua and me. It's a waste to leave it there. Besides, our Hua Hua is very jealous. If I suddenly bring such a little thing home, she will definitely be jealous. I don't want to disturb my home. Dundun's ears perked up when he heard this, and he looked at his master with resentment. Master, listen to him, his thoughts, his awareness, he is indeed someone else's master. How could Su Yiyan not understand Ling Xiaoqi's meaning? He looked at his dog with disappointment. Ling Xiaoqi did not stay in the family hole for too long. She had recently found a job and was preparing to go to work in the next 2 days. When she was about to go back, Su Yiyan suddenly thought of something when he heard that she was going to work. His face changed slightly. Wait. What's wrong? You're going to work. What kind of work? Where is it? What kind of work can it be? It's just an assistant translator. I just found it 2 days ago. I don't know where it is exactly. It's the Qian group in the south of the city. Su Yiyan's eyes flashed with a trace of understanding, and his face immediately became gloomy. Ling Xiaoqi was keenly aware that something was wrong with Su Yiyan. She wondered, what's wrong? Is there a problem with this group? Su Yiyan's heart moved slightly, and he followed her words. Yes, there is a problem with this company. Whose assistant are you going to be? The general manager of their company. Is there a problem with him? Yes, there is a big problem. Chapter 385. Ling Xiaoqi was immediately frightened by Su Yiyan. What's the problem? The general manager of this group is the nephew of the boss. He is in his early 30s and has been married for a long time. He has 2 children, but he likes to cheat on women outside. I heard that several of his previous assistants resigned because they couldn't stand his sexual harassment. Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. Really? Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you? Su Yiyan said affirmatively, but a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. Ling Xiaoqi didn't notice this, but Hu Qinhuan, who had been silently accompanying Su Yiyan, saw it all and frowned slightly. Ling Xiaoqi had always trusted Su Yiyan. She had left City A for a period of time, and she didn't have the family background of Su Yiyan. It was not surprising that she didn't know these rumors. Then I'll go back and quit this job and find another one. Su Yiyan expected Ling Xiaoqi's reaction. Because of her mother's matter, she was most disgusted with this kind of scumbag who had a wife at home and a wife outside, not to mention that this scumbag liked to cheat on women around him. What are you looking for? Our company just changed a lot of people not long ago and kicked out a group of people. Now we are in a state of shortage. You didn't say that you were looking for a job before. Isn't it better to directly enter my company and be a department manager in charge of external business? Ling Xiaoqi was stunned and whispered, "This is not good. You have just taken over the company, and you have already stuffed people into the company. What's not good about it?" Su Yiyan looked at his friend with a faint smile. "Do you have any misunderstanding about my position in the company, or about your own ability? Don't you have confidence in your own ability?" "Of course I have confidence in myself," but, before Ling Xiaoqi could finish her words, she was interrupted by Su Yiyan. "That's enough. I know your ability very well. It would be our company's loss if we let you go. It's settled then. I'll get HR to contact you later. Come to work on time next week." Then, without giving Ling Xiaoqi a chance to refute, he directly pushed her out of the door. Ling Xiaoqi, who was standing at the door with Hua Hua in her arms, was dumbfounded. After sending off Ling Xiaoqi, Su Yiyan turned around and met his dog's aggrieved gaze. She recalled that when Ling Xiaoqi was about to leave just now, this guy repeated his old tricks and tried to cozy up to her, wanting to go home with her. Su Yiyan was so angry that she almost laughed. You, just give up on running away with him. You did her daughter in front of him. It's already good enough that Xiaoqi didn't chop you into pieces. How can she lead a wolf into the house again? The more Dun Dun listened to her, the angrier he became. He moved his small body and turned back, facing her with his butt. Yo, you're still angry. Tell me, what did I tell you before I left? Don't bully Yuan, don't bully Yuan. You two are going to live together, and you have to love each other. But you, I just left, and you went to harass her. I spoiled you too much, causing you to be so lawless at home now. Look at you, and then look at Yuan. Yuan can eat her fill just by basking in the sun. She can also help clean the house and do housework. She's obedient, sensible, and capable. Unlike you, who eats fragrant dog food and is carried around like a little emperor all day long. You're still so domineering and willful. Dun Dun. Master, are you implying that I eat a lot? Now that the little vixen entered the door, this baby won't even have a full meal in the future. Chapter 386. Su Yiyan didn't know that the dog only listened to one sentence after he said so much. He sighed and said, "This time, I'll take it as a lesson for you. You're not allowed to go out before your fur is fully grown. Stay at home and reflect on your mistakes." Dun Dun lay on the ground motionlessly, and even its ears drooped down. I don't want to listen. I'll be a little cabbage that no one wants in the future. Woo. Su Yiyan squatted on the side and looked at it for a long time without any reaction. He then glanced at the protruding fur on its body, and his heart softened. He rubbed its head helplessly and didn't nag anymore. After instructing the servants at home to take good care of Dun Dun so that it wouldn't run away from home when they weren't paying attention, Su Yiyan finally heaved a sigh of relief. He turned his head and met his man's probing gaze. "What's wrong? Why didn't you want your friend to go to that company just now?" The expression on Su Yiyan's face stiffened slightly. "Didn't I say just now? That general manager's private life is messy, and I'm afraid that she will suffer. Moreover, I also want her to enter my company." "Really?" Hua Qinhuan stared at Su Yiyan's eyes and said in a deep voice, "You don't have to say it if you don't want to, but don't lie to me." Su Yiyan pursed his lips and finally admitted defeat under Hua Qinhuan's gaze. "Okay, I admit that what I said just now was just an excuse. The real reason is because of Xiaoqi's father." "Her father?" "This matter is Xiaoqi's family matter, but she shouldn't mind being known by others. Xiaoqi's biological father is a scumbag. When he was in college, he coaxed Xiaoqi's mother to be his girlfriend for a period of time, but in fact, he already had an engagement with another girl and was preparing to get married as soon as he graduated." Hua Qinhuan's eyes turned cold. This story sounded familiar, but since Su Yiyan had used the word cheat, it was likely that the subsequent events would be completely different from Hua Xiaofeng and the others. Xiaoqi's mother found out about this by chance. At that time, she was already pregnant with Xiaoqi. In a fit of anger, she cut off all contact with Xiaoqi's biological father and ran away with Xiaoqi. "So, what you're saying is related to her father. Xiaoqi's biological father has some friendship with the chairman of Qi Yan Group that she just mentioned. I'm afraid that after she enters that company, she might meet someone she shouldn't meet and be pestered." It was also because she had been so busy recently that she had forgotten about this matter and almost caused Ling Xiaoqi to fall into the fire pit again. "Actually, what I said to Xiaoqi just now isn't all fake. At least, that general manager isn't a good person." Su Yiyan also only found out about this matter after Ling Xiaoqi returned to her scumbag father's house. This general manager of Qi Yan Group was indeed a fickle scumbag who couldn't control his lower body. It was just that his father-in-law happened to be a director of that company. Although he liked to play, he didn't dare to let his father-in-law know about his disgraceful affairs outside. At least, he didn't dare to make a fuss about this matter in the company and make his father-in-law lose face. Therefore, before Ling Xiaoqi, he didn't make a move on the female employees in the company. But after Ling Xiaoqi became his assistant, this general manager didn't know whether it was because he saw that Ling Xiaoqi was beautiful or because he had hinted to Ling Xiaoqi several times, but Ling Xiaoqi was indifferent. Instead, it aroused his desire to conquer her. He actually brazenly asked Ling Xiaoqi for a hidden rule. He even tried to force himself on her after Ling Xiaoqi refused. Chapter 387. Although she didn't succeed in the end, Su Yiyan still gritted her teeth in anger when she thought about it. In short, if Xiaoqi enters that company, it will be no different from carrying a time bomb. It's fine if I didn't know before, but now that I know, I definitely can't watch her jump into the fire pit. After hearing Su Yiyan's words, Hua Qinhuan only frowned and asked, "What does she think of this biological father?" He didn't want his baby to spend so much effort to protect her, only to be resented in the end. Xiaoqi has a good relationship with her mother, and her mother has never hidden the matter of her biological father from her, so she hates this father very much and has never thought of acknowledging him. Taking a step back, even if the current Ling Xiaoqi still had expectations for this father, Su Yiyan would never let Ling Xiaoqi have too much contact with her scumbag father when she thought of the various torments she suffered when she returned to that family in her previous life. That's good. Hua Qinhuan pondered for a moment and reminded in a low voice, but I'm afraid this matter won't be so easy to hide, especially under the premise that one party wants to find out. Su Yiyan's expression was solemn. Obviously, she was also a little worried about this. Let's take one step at a time. After going to the Su family, Su Yiyan quickly became busy again. She first sent Yi Qiliang some book content for next week's class and asked him to help make a simulation doll with various acupoints on the human body so that it would be convenient for her to use when teaching acupuncture. As mentioned before, after the disappearance of Chinese medicinal herbs, Chinese medicine gradually weakened and declined, and many related materials were also lost. The word acupuncture was something that Yi Qiliang accidentally saw from an ancient book. He knew that there was such a thing, but he didn't know the principle. After receiving the three-dimensional acupoint structures sent by Su Yiyan, Yi Qiliang hurriedly agreed to Su Yiyan's various requests and said that he would definitely prepare the things she wanted by next weekend. At the same time, he returned the favor by sending Su Yiyan the letter of guarantee that he had drafted earlier for the students to fill in. Su Yiyan glanced at the letter and realized that in addition to the requirements that he had mentioned before, there were also some additional guarantees. For example, students participating in this class are not allowed to teach what they have learned to others without the permission of the teacher and the school. You are not allowed to use the teacher's name to attract attention and gain benefits. Was Yi Qiliang trying to monopolize all this knowledge within a university and make it the school's specialty? Of course not. Even Su Yiyan, the person involved, could be so generous and not hide anything. As a middleman, he could at most be considered as a bridge between the two parties. No one wanted this knowledge to be passed down and recognized by the public more than him. However, Su Yiyan's previous requests made him realize that he had been too impatient. Humans had a certain amount of time to accept new things, and this period of time was crucial for them. Once someone made a mistake during this period of time, people would preemptively think that it was something bad. Su Yiyan's previous requirements were only to restrain the students. She did not want them to use these things to harm the patients who were already in pain. Yi Qiliang's conditions were obviously more complete. Not only did they restrict the students, but they also prevented some students from being teachers and teaching others before they had mastered the knowledge. They also allowed those half-baked people to go out and swindle others and ruin the reputation of Chinese medicine. Chapter 388. Su Yiyan did not expect that her previous requests would make Yi Qiliang think so far ahead. She secretly sighed. The old man was experienced and knowledgeable, and his vision was more farsighted than the young. Su Yiyan certainly had no reason to refuse such terms that were beneficial to her. She immediately asked Yi Qiliang to implement these guarantees as soon as possible. Yi Qiliang helped to look after the school's affairs. Luo Weibing also successfully signed a 10-year contract with Dongqing City before the end of the month. The company's newcomers also worked hard to get the resources. After the big change, the company gradually got on the right track. Everything was so smooth. But what made Su Yiyan most happy was that Hu Qinhuan's legs finally had a qualitative change after more than a month of unremitting efforts. Can you feel it if I pinch it like this? Su Yiyan's hand pinched his knee. Yes. How about here? Her hand began to move down. Yes. How about this? Su Yiyan suppressed her excitement. Instead of pinching, she touched. Before Hu Qinhuan could answer, his hand was grabbed by Hu Jinyao. If you continue to touch like this, I can't guarantee that nothing will happen. What? Su Yiyan was stunned for a few seconds before she realized what Hu Qinhuan meant. She stood up and said with a red face, I'm talking about your legs. Don't change the subject. Then she seemed to be afraid that Hu Qinhuan would change the subject. She took a deep breath and said with her eyes shining, You can feel it if I touch it gently, right? Hu Qinhuan looked at Su Yiyan's bright eyes, and his heart trembled. He couldn't feel his legs since he woke up from the car accident. They were still there, but they were cold like decorations. He couldn't move or jump, let alone stand up. But now, he could feel the subtle strength of the hand attached to his legs. His originally cold legs seemed to have come alive at this moment. The boiling blood flowed through the invisible blood vessels to every part of his body, warming him up completely. Great, it means that the blood vessels are opened. They are recovering little by little. Su Yiyen's eyes were red. She held Hu Qinhuan's hand tightly and said excitedly, "Wait, wait, you can stand up soon, soon." Hu Qinhuan held Su Yiyen's hand and joked, "In fact, I think my other disease is recovering well. I should be completely cured before I stand up." Su Yiyen was slightly taken aback. After realizing what Hu Qinhuan was talking about, she subconsciously lowered her head and glanced at him. Ahem. Let's talk about the rest after your leg recovers. Su Yiyen pulled her hand back. Your leg has shrunk a little after not walking for so many years. I'll ask Zhang Bo to prepare a room for you to do recovery training. After saying that, Su Yiyen turned around and ran, as if there was a terrible beast chasing after her. The moment she turned around, Hu Qinhuan could faintly see the side of her face and the tips of her ears, which looked like cooked shrimp. Hu Qinhuan looked at Su Yiyen's back as she left. His eyes were full of smiles, but then his smile became deep and attractive like the surface of the water when the breeze blew over. Once upon a time, he thought that he would never be able to stand up in this lifetime, let alone have the love of his life. Now, not only did he see the hope of standing up, but in the near future, he might even have a child with her. Chapter 389. Downstairs, Uncle Zhang was watching with great interest as Yuan manipulated the two familiar scissors and skillfully trimmed the flowers and plants in the yard. Upon hearing Su Yiyen's request, the old man, who had been in the family Huo for most of his life, was stunned for a moment. You mean, Su Yiyen made a shushing gesture at Uncle Zhang. I hope that not too many people know about this before the dust settles. Qinhuan is not suitable to be disturbed now. Uncle Zhang immediately understood the meaning behind Su Yiyen's words and confirmed his thoughts. His eyes reddened, and his whole body trembled uncontrollably. He knew that his young madam had been secretly treating his young master's legs during this period of time. Every morning, he would wake up early and personally go to their room to pack the dregs of the medicinal herbs and dispose of them. These were all used by them to bathe or soak their feet the night before. Before this, Uncle Zhang was skeptical of Su Yiyen's actions, or rather, he did not think highly of them. However, since the young couple had the intention and the young master was willing to cooperate, he could not say anything and just treated it as a couple's love affair. Unexpectedly, okay. I'll do it now. I'll do it secretly. Su Yiyen saw that he was so cooperative and was slightly relieved. Although the servants in this house were basically old people who had been here for a few years, most of them were not particularly close to Hu Qinhuan. Only the old housekeeper had watched Hu Qinhuan grow up, so Su Yiyen only trusted him. The improvement of Hu Qinhuan's legs made Su Yiyen feel very good for the next few days. However, this good mood did not last long and was destroyed by a terrible matter. Someone went to the restaurant to make trouble. Su Yiyen, who was sitting in the general manager's office in Dongqing City and dealing with documents, received a call from Li Jingwen. What's going on? This is what happened. During lunchtime, a middle-aged man suddenly barged into our shop with an old lady's death certificate. He said that our medicinal cuisine killed his old lady and demanded compensation. We've encountered this a few times before, and we didn't pay much attention to it at first. We just wanted to find out what he spent at the store. Wait, how many times have you encountered it before? Only then did Li Jingwen realize that he had spilled the beans, and he couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Tell me honestly what you've encountered before. Okay. It turned out that as early as a few days ago, there were people frequently looking for trouble. At first, a middle-aged woman came to their door and said that she had eaten lunch at their restaurant and had a stomachache in the afternoon. She made a scene on the spot and scolded their food for being unclean, saying that they were black-hearted and unscrupulous merchants who murdered for money. Li Jingwen and the others were so angry that they immediately asked the middle-aged woman to come to the store to pay for the receipt or identification. The middle-aged woman refused to cooperate and insisted that they didn't want to compensate her and were deliberately making things difficult for her. Li Jingwen and the others directly called the police. With the help of the police, they obtained the middle-aged woman's identification and found that she had never spent money in their store. The middle-aged woman still wanted to quibble, but there were so many pairs of eyes in the store, and they were not just for decoration. In the end, she was taken away by the police and detained. Li Jingwen and the others thought that this was the end of the matter. They didn't expect that about 3 days later, a customer who came to the store to spend money suddenly complained of a stomachache after eating. She questioned whether their food was clean and found a cockroach in the food. Chapter 390. Li Jingwen and the others realized that something was wrong at that time and reacted quickly. In front of all the customers, they pulled out more than a dozen surveillance cameras in the restaurant and zoomed in on how the man had secretly hidden the cockroach in the food. When the man saw that the matter had been exposed, he took advantage of the crowd's heated discussion to push them away and escape in a sorry state. It was the first time Su Yiyan heard about this, and her face became more and more ugly. Why didn't you tell me this before? Li Jingwen also felt very guilty. At that time, they also wanted to tell Su Yiyan about this matter. But when they thought about how busy Su Yiyan was, and that they had smoothly resolved these two matters without causing any trouble. If someone really wanted to mess with them, they should know when to stop after being thwarted twice in a row and temporarily stop. Who would have thought that on the second day, something like this would happen again? Su Yiyan also knew that now was not the time to pursue this matter. She said coldly, "Let's not talk about the previous matter first. Tell me about today's matter in detail. What happened after that man said that our medicinal cuisine killed his family's old lady?" Su Yiyan said as she walked out. After that, we wanted to pull out his consumption records to see if he deliberately came to blackmail us like the woman before. In the end, before we had time to check, people from the relevant departments arrived. Relevant departments? What are they doing here? They said that they received a report from a customer and came to our restaurant to check the safety of our food. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes. Just when a customer came to make trouble, the relevant departments came to check. She really did not believe that there was nothing wrong with it. Have they left now? No. Li Jingwen lowered his voice and said, "Liang and the others just heard from those people that our restaurant has a lot of medicinal cuisine. It may take a few days to analyze the internal composition of these things. Our restaurant has to be closed for a few days. We can only determine whether our restaurant can continue to operate after they come out with the results." Su Yiyan sat in the car. When she heard Li Jingwen's words, her heart suddenly skipped a beat. She suddenly understood the intention of the person behind this. Before the relevant departments came to their door, they had caused such a farce. Before they could clarify, the restaurant had to be temporarily closed for cooperation with the investigation. Su Yiyan could already imagine what kind of criticism her restaurant would suffer during the few days it was closed. Even after the relevant departments finished the inspection and proved that there was nothing wrong with the medicinal cuisine in their restaurant, some people would not come to their restaurant for psychological reasons. Su Yiyan did not care about the loss of those customers, but this did not mean that she could tolerate others' blatant scheming and humiliating and slandering her restaurant. Everyone realized that something was wrong. They are still in the shop. What about the customers? It happened so suddenly that we sent away all the customers in the store. I took the liberty of waiving the expenses of those who were still in the store. Liang and the others tried to pacify them, telling them that this was just a routine inspection and nothing went wrong. Now you temporarily stabilize the inspectors over there. I'll go over right away. Su Yiyan knew that it was inevitable that her subordinates would panic when they suddenly encountered such a thing, so she timely comforted them. Don't panic. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the medicinal cuisine in our restaurant. You have to have confidence in yourselves. Don't panic. Chapter 391. When Li Jingwen heard Su Yiyan's words, he felt relieved and hurriedly said, "Okay, I understand. Don't worry, before you come over, we will guard the store well." After Su Yiyan hung up the phone, she still felt uneasy. After hesitating for a moment, she called Yi Qiliang and briefly explained what had happened in the store to him. Yi Qiliang could be considered as someone who had seen many storms and waves. Just from Su Yiyan's words, he could tell that something was fishy. He could also roughly guess the purpose of Su Yiyan's call. He immediately said, "This matter is a little strange. How about this? I'll ask my student to contact his old friend in the inspection department and ask him to take some time to go to your place. With him around, those inspectors won't dare to act recklessly. Then I'll have to trouble Professor Yi." After finding external help, Su Yiyan subconsciously searched for the news. Sure enough, she saw that the red article at the top was talking about her store. Gossip Network's popular streamer's food has killed someone. The relevant departments have come to inspect. Popular food streamer's food is suspected to have been spiked with illegal drugs. Now closed for inspection. Because this news website had already exploded, there were all kinds of comments. Although there were some die-hard fans who supported her, there were more keyboard warriors who wanted to see the world in chaos. There were also passers-by who were misled by the news and directly stood against Su Yiyan. Of course, there were also some streamers who were jealous of her but couldn't do anything to her. Similar to, I really don't know how she became popular. Her food is terrible, but there are still people who support her, hype bis. Every day, they find people to spend money in the live broadcast room to hype her up. Do they really think everyone is a fool? If I knew this would happen, would have deserved it, and so on. There were countless comments that were jealous of the rich. Even the fact that she didn't show her face was once again used to ridicule her. Some people even directly pointed out that she was an old woman in her 40s. She was old enough to be a mother or even a grandmother to the audience, but there was still a group of people who supported her. It was really disgusting. Looking at these sharp and unpleasant personal attacks, Su Yiyan was lying if she said that she wasn't angry. However, she also understood that someone must have been behind the incident that had just occurred in her shop, and there had been a report about it immediately on the internet. Furthermore, it was so detailed. There was a high chance that someone was manipulating these comments behind the scenes. Su Yiyan suppressed the anger in her heart and rationally chose to ask her man for help. As soon as the call connected, Hu Chenhuan's voice came through first. "Yen, where are you now?" "I'm on my way to the restaurant." "The restaurant, I know. Do you want to go there now?" Hu Chenhuan interrupted Su Yiyan and frowned. "Don't go there yet. But, I've already sent Yen Bai to deal with it. Tell your employees that Yen Bai is the store manager." Su Yiyan's pupils shrank. She couldn't react for a moment. Yen Bai is the store manager. Why? You should have noticed that this wasn't a coincidence. The other party clearly came prepared. If you go there rashly, it's hard to guarantee that he won't use this as a pretext to make a fuss. With Hu Chenhuan's reminder, Su Yiyan's brain finally came around. Are you suspecting that the reason that person did all this was to force me out? Hu Chenhuan's eyes turned cold. That's not impossible. As long as there was a possibility, he couldn't let Su Yiyan take such a risk so recklessly. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.